Hi, this is Naomi Bennett, and we're going to do a quick review of 2016 since it was such a dramatic year. Here is a review of the chart, and the most important thing was those two solar eclipses, and then the blue area that you see was Mars retrograde. These were the trend lines of social reform and surprising upsets because we had a populist movement in the United States, but the markets were pretty stable through all of this. Most people were not predicting Trump to win, but he certainly did. So let's look at the financial review of the Fortune 500 with the charts. So here is the Fortune 500 results for 2016, and then we've overlapped the astrological aspects that are relevant. Note the big dip in January, and that was a period of time when we had the last of the Pluto square Uranus with the Sun, and the market dropped dramatically in January and part of February. The first solar eclipse that you see in red didn't seem to have much impact, but that Mars retrograde period in blue did have an impact when we had, if you see above, the Uranus-Eris Sun lunar node Saturn combination, which was a major result. We had a major dip in the market. And then during the solar eclipse, which I considered one of the most dramatic of the year, occurred. It didn't impact the market very much, but that was the rise of Trump. That was major events around the world, and the overthrow of Turkey at that time when it came to Erdogan. So it was a very big period of time for the world, but not for the finances. Then the election occurred with Trump. There's not an astrological aspect with that, but you will see that the market jumped with the election of Trump. And then we finally had a moon wobble on November 30th, and we had a stationary period before the market rose up and it continued up higher. So those are the major events that impacted the market, and we'll also look at 2017 shortly to see what the financial impact is too. So I'm going to take the 2016 chart one more time because I want you to note the Mars retrograde and out of bounds period that only happens every 2 years, and it truly impacted the rest of the United States and the world because we had such a strong emphasis of war actions, but also sexual scandals. If you remember, Trump survived his sexual scandal, but the continuing sexual scandal of the Blade Runner down in South Africa came up again. And of course, the rape trials that are going on with Bill Cosby came into the news. And of course, we had a very serious period of violence during that time. And that is because Mars, the planet of aggression and war and sexuality, stayed stationary and repeated itself for about a 3-month period of time, which gave us a greater period of volatility than what we would expect normally. This next chart is to emphasize the big change that occurred starting in August of 2015 and going all the way through 2016, is that we had the slow-moving heavy planets going into the mutable signs, which are the signs of social change and reform, and the lunar node also went into those signs. So this has been an unusual year and a half of social upheaval and change that we have seen, the uprising of Black Lives Matter and more uprising in the Middle East, and now with the big change with the Trump and the objections to his administration. That will continue on to a little bit into 2017, which is the next chart we're going to get to. So this is the chart for 2017, and what it emphasizes in the blue at the top is that Jupiter is in opposition to Uranus. That should bode well for the stock market for the first quarter. There will be a slight dip during the solar eclipse that centers around February the 26th. And think of it as being volatile the week before and after. So there could be a dip at that point. We have a moon wobble on May 19th. You can expect a small jog or dip in the market also. But the bigger event is the solar eclipse that's going to occur on August the 21st with Mars. This hits Trump's chart and Putin's chart. So we could have signatures of war and conflict, and usually will upset the market at the same time. I believe that there will continue to be social protests and change up until about May, and there may be a real change in attitude after that because the lunar nodes go into Leo and Aquarius. However, that is also a sign of revolution, and the solar eclipse in August the 21st can be upsetting because it's emphasized with Mars. And then we have one moon wobble on November the 11th, which is another dip in the market. So those are the strongest points, the moon wobbles and the solar eclipses, for changes of direction in the stock market. And I think the stock market will be strong for the first quarter this year. After that, it's up in the air because we have such a dynamic, strong, different president that things could turn dramatically. So let's look at his chart. This is Trump's chart. It's a natal chart. But the emphasis here is that his Mercury, which is the planet of speech, is erratic and out of bounds, and he does have a reputation for his tweeting. And then he's notorious for his womanizing and his misogyny, and he's got Mars right on his ascendant, just like President Bill Clinton did. So we haven't seen the last of that, but that makes him very defensive and will attack his enemies because he believes in defending himself, and he has a strong reputation for this. The second chart has his declinations. We'll look at that next. So this is for astrologers, that you can see how extreme his Uranus, Moon, lunar node, and Sun is, and then his Mars is out of bounds. That just shows you that he has a very hard time controlling his speech. So this particular chart is a review of the presidential election, and the biggest thing is the block that's in red, which is the period of time where we had a Saturn square Neptune, which brought out illusion, fake news, deception, and I think this is the big cause of Hillary's defeat and Trump's win, is this illusion of who was going to do a better job, and the idea that she was untrustworthy, and it just escalated during that period of time. So I call this year of 2016 the year of the big lie. So now we have the aspects, the forecast for President Trump, and he's going to have a difficult year. I think he's probably lost a lot of money, and he has so much duty, responsibility, and obligation. I think it's going to be a huge stress on his body because Saturn is transiting his moon, which creates a level of depression and feeling restricted. But then on top of that, the danger period for him is that solar eclipse period. So this is a danger period for him where the probability of having a heart attack or being attacked or dealing with war becomes emphasized is during this solar eclipse period, because he's already under stress, and now we add another issue or crisis to come in, and I think it'll be very difficult for him during that period of time. This is the chart of Donald Trump and Putin put together, And the thing I want to emphasize with this is that they are frenemies. So what they do basically is they'll talk nice in public, but they're in extreme competition with each other. These are two warriors that are clashing with each other, and Putin feels very threatened by Trump, and they are in a battle of who's going to be on top and one-upmanship. So the combined charts mean that it's always one-upmanship with each other, and they're very, very competitive, and they're not friends at all. So now we have Putin's transits, and he's under a lot of pressure himself too. He is being depressed and feel the weight of the world, probably because his economic policies and our restrictions against them are really hurting the economy. And that same solar eclipse hits his chart. Solar eclipse hits both of them and hits Mars, so I have a feeling they're going to be in battle and conflict with each other. I don't know whether or not they're going to come to blows, but they're both under stress. Their charts are emphasized, and I would expect some fireworks from that. So this is a quick overview of 2017, and I wish you the best of a happy new year, the best to you and yours. Signing out, Naomi Bennett.